You'd say your business, you in particular here in the real estate market in Negril, has picked up during the time of
Definitely.
COVID. Okay.
It more than doubled.
What do you attribute that to?
Most of our customers are Jamaicans living in Canada, America, and they are the ones who really they are considering already to come back to Jamaica. And when COVID hit, I guess everybody was thinking, sitting in Canada in the cold, locked up in their apartments, that to be in Jamaica would be the better solution. And then they just made a step forward and came and made offers. And also Americans, Canadians, Europeans came and decided that Jamaica is a nice place to live.
Hey YouTube fam, welcome back to another video podcast episode here at On Deck with Throp. Today we have a fantastic guest. We are actually hopping into the real estate game, so to speak. I know there are a lot of people out there who are interested in possibly purchasing land here or renting and have a bunch of questions as it relates to just living in Jamaica on the more practical financial living space, quality of life type thing. So today we have a guest who is an expert in such fields, and we have with me my real estate agent down here, Margit Eder. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely, absolute pleasure. To start with, we just want to get a bit of an idea of your background, where you're from. Obviously, you have a little bit of an accent. Mm-hmm. And so if you would, could you just introduce yourself to us?
My name is Margit Eder. I come from Germany.
Okay.
And have been working with Valerie Levy for like 11 years now. And when I came to Jamaica, I started with selling timeshare and vacation ownership in Negril Beach Club. And I was also a tour guide.
And Valerie Levy is a real estate broker?
Is a real estate broker in Kingston, and they were the first company that did real estate in Jamaica.
I see. And you are a real estate agent for them?
I am a real estate agent, yes.
Okay. And how long have you been a real estate agent here in Jamaica?
For 11 years now.
I see. And you've always been with Valerie Levy?
Yes.
And you specialize in Negril at this point?
Yes, Negril and Westmoreland.
Okay.
Sometimes I venture out to Hanover and St. Elizabeth, but not very often.
So I want to hop right into it, get into it, because I know that's what many people are interested in, and so am I to a small extent, as a matter of fact. So to start with, could you just give us just like your general thoughts on the Jamaican real estate market, especially in the times that we're in right now, which is very unique times?
Well, that was very surprising for me, at least because I thought that business would go down, but it was totally to the contrary. We had major business since COVID started. You'd
say your business, you in particular here in the real estate market in Negril, has picked up during the time of
Definitely.
COVID. Okay.
It more than doubled.
What do you attribute that to?
I think it is because people, especially because our customers, most of our customers are Jamaicans living in Canada, America, and they are the ones who really they are considering already to come back to Jamaica. And when COVID hit, I guess everybody was thinking, sitting in Canada in the cold, locked up in their apartments, that maybe to be in Jamaica would be the better solution. And then they just made a step forward and came and made offers. And also Americans, Canadians, Europeans came and decided that Jamaica is a nice place to live.
I spoke of this before on a previous podcast, just about my experience alone with that in terms of guests that we have here coming to Travelers Beach Resort who've been coming for years. And this year, I would say last year was the first year that I've seen just an elevated interest in purchasing property in Negril. And many of our guests who've been coming here for years and years and years, it's like you said, this COVID has kind of pushed them over the edge. And I've obviously introduced you and connected you to many of these people. And yeah, so that's just kind of, I guess, just another data point to my observation.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to tell you that I bumped into some Canadians last January.
Mm-hmm.
And they were drinking a Red Stripe on a beach during COVID. And I asked them what they're doing there. And they said, well, they got just stuck because the plane did not leave again and they missed out on the last plane. And I said, and now? Well, they're staying here until COVID is over. I wonder if they're still here.
And we've had that too. I've had some Canadian friends who got stuck here, and they were literally here, I want to say 6, 7, maybe even 8 months they were stuck here.
A lot of people decided to stay. And we also had long-term rentals that time because Americans came a little bit longer. I think Canada stopped the flights first.
Right.
And then Americans came a little bit longer, and there were long-term rentals during COVID. People just coming to Jamaica and did their work from here.
We're seeing that as well here at the hotel. Many guests are just doing the whole work from home, or in the sense work from abroad. And they check in the morning and do their work, and then they just have fun or just hang out at the beach or at the bar in the evening after they finish working. So I'm seeing the same exact thing here. And we were speaking earlier about your experience and counter to or previous to COVID in terms of what your sales were as a real estate agent and what it is now. And can you if you could just share that with us one more time?
My company told me that this year I made more sales, like last year during COVID, I made more sales than all the years I've been working with them before.
In one year.
So that was absolutely amazing. That was 2020.
So, but again, I don't mean to belabor the point, but again, that speaks to the way that I look at it. It speaks to the demand that there is for real estate and property, at least in Negril.
Yes, and we have been selling everything. From land to houses to hotels. I mean, there's not even something that you can point at which is selling more than others because everything was selling. I would say that Jamaicans who come here are more into buying land, and foreigners are more into buying condos, already finished houses, because they're not sure about the building here. That is a little difference, but otherwise everything has been selling.
That's very interesting, the difference between Jamaicans and other foreigners, right? With that, I do want to hop into the rental aspect of it and really kind of get into some numbers as far as that relates. So if somebody is considering, because I always recommend if you're going to or thinking about moving to Jamaica and you're thinking about making a long-term commitment, one of the best things that you can do is come here and stay for an extended period of time.
Definitely.
Now, particular to here in Negril, how much or what would be the range of somebody who's looking for, say, a studio apartment or a one-bedroom apartment to rent, that is?
Yeah, well, if you take a studio, let's say Point Village.
Okay.
Point Village, a studio would start renting from like $600. One bedroom, maybe $1,100, $1,200. I have 2 bedrooms in the West End that are renting at $1,700, fully furnished. In Negril, you have a lot of places that are fully furnished with everything in there already. Only thing that the people have to pay extra is utilities, like electricity and their water usage, of course, and that's it.
And can you just explain a little bit the difference between, say, the Point Village example that you just gave us in terms of amenities, what it's like as compared to the one on the West End that's $1,700 a month?
Yes. Well, the $1,700 a month in the West End would be also an oceanfront property. So it is nice. Point Village is also regarded as a very nice property for rental because you have the beach there, you have the rock pool, you have a place where you can snorkel. It's very quiet. You can walk through the property. It has a walkway all around there. So this is like already like in the high end rental.
I see.
If you want to spend less money, you would have to go maybe a little bit outside or go somewhere like the Jamaicans say in the hills, like a little bit outside Negril or up the hills there. Then you would not be in a gated community because that's the next thing. Point Village is gated.
I see.
Other places are not gated, and then you might not really have a super modern kitchen, and you might not have an AC, all these things. But you would maybe get something for like $350 for an apartment. So the prices will be a little bit less. So
$350 a month. You're living in Jamaica. You're in the hills. You may not have the amenities of being on a beachfront or ocean view, but you're
not far away.
You're not far away. You're not far away. Okay, that's good to know. And with the $600 to $1,200 at Point Village, you have your oceanfront, beach access.
You're already in paradise.
And you have a gated community.
Yes.
And then on the property on the West End that you were saying for $1,700 a month renting, you get oceanfront. And what else would you get with that?
It's really only the oceanfront, and the apartment is very nice. I mean, it's a huge apartment, almost for 6 people, with extra laundry, very nice, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we can take a look at some of these
We could
sometimes.
look at that too.
Okay, okay. Sounds good.
Unfortunately, there are not many places to rent unfurnished.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
so
good to know.
outside in Sheffield, for example, there are some places where you could rent for like a 1-bedroom. No, it's a 2-bedroom condominium built like a townhouse, and it would cost you 50,000 Jamaican dollar, which is very reasonable.
So 50,000 would be about maybe $300,
Yes,
350.
but that would come unfurnished. So
Okay.
you would have to come with your own furniture, and of course that would be long term.
And Sheffield is about 15 minutes from Negril.
Not even 15.
Not even 15
5
minutes. 5 minutes. Okay.
I used to live there.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. You're a fast driver.
5 minutes drive.
Okay. Okay.
No,
5 minutes.
I'm moderate driver.
Okay. So, but essentially, it's not far from Negril at all. Not far from the beach.
Yes,
And-
but most people, I would recommend that people who just come and are not familiar with the area, that they stay in something like a resort complex.
Okay, to start with
Yeah,
and familiarize yourself with
yeah.
that. And then as you get more familiar,
And then you can
move out,
venture
venture out a little bit.
in the
Okay,
hills.
excellent. In the hills, and the hills are nice. It's very lush. It's beautiful. Like the fauna in Jamaica naturally is just to die for already. So it's not
I
really
live
a
in the
downgrade.
hills.
There you go.
It's beautiful.
There you go. I think so too. Very peaceful and very
Yeah.
quiet as well. Moving into the purchasing aspect of it. So with land and with condominiums, completed structures, kind of want to get an idea of, as succinctly as we can, the process of purchasing land or just making real estate purchases in general. Let's keep it at that. And what would be the process for, say, let's start with somebody who is not Jamaican, who's looking to purchase land in Jamaica. Are they eligible?
Yes. Well, number one, everybody can buy land in Jamaica.
Okay.
And if you compare the prices of different Caribbean islands, then Jamaica is one of the most reasonable. And it's one island where you do not need a Jamaican business partner.
I
You
see.
can buy the land in your name only. You own it, you can will it, you can sell it, you can rent it. It's yours. You're absolutely protected. It's registered in the book of titles, and nobody can do anything to your land. The only thing, before you buy it, you really have to check it out. And at this point, I want to mention that services of a real estate agent for a purchaser are free. So use them before you buy something where later on you might find out that the boundaries are not okay or the title is not correct, and you have a lot of problems later.
I see. Yeah, I've heard very bad horror stories.
Yeah,
as it
get
relates to
somebody
that.
involved who really knows the business, and if it's free for you, go for it.
Could you walk us through a little bit about just the financing aspect of it and access to finance?
Yes, because I had some people here already who think that they come to Jamaica, they love something, they go back and they think they get in their country, they get a loan for Jamaican property, and they don't. You have to go to a Jamaican bank to get financing. And all the major banks here offer financing at the same conditions. I would just check that out. And you said that you put a link or something.
Sure.
Yes. So they can get information. And what I would recommend when you come to Jamaica and you know already that you want to buy something, let's say you had been here already, you know that maybe this is what you want to buy, come prepared. Come with proof of funds, or if you need financing, it would be good to come at least with documents that are required for the pre-approval. Because
Okay.
I cannot even put in an offer without a pre-approval. So pre-approval is important, and you will have to submit your income to the bank, your expenses, and then the bank will calculate how long the loan will run. And if you're employed, it is a job letter that you have to provide. And if you're self-employed, I think you need to provide a tax return, something like this. But you can put a link there too.
I know you said that the process and requirements are similar to that of other countries. Can you give us just some high-level requirements that are in the pre-approval process?
I don't really understand what you mean.
Like, what would be some of the requirements to make it through the pre-approval process successfully?
Well, the only thing is that you have an income, because I mean, if you're in between jobs and you don't have a job, then you will not get a loan here in Jamaica. You have to show the banks that you have a regular income. They need passport, they need to see who you are, everything notarized. And
Okay.
as I said, a statement from banks that you have a certain income, business income. And also you have to provide them with a 25% down payment.
Okay.
So normally the loans here go around 5%, and you need a 25% down payment to get a loan in Jamaica.
The interest rate is 5%?
Yeah,
Okay.
around 5%.
Around 5%.
Sometimes banks they have promotions and offer a little less. So it's always good to check with your real estate agent if you know of any promotions, and then you can take advantage of that.
As you mentioned before, I'll definitely have the link to the requirements of the document that we discussed before,
Yes.
of all the requirements
Yes.
necessary. So
Yeah.
you can check that out. I'll make sure I have it in the description below. It'll just be a Google Doc link that you can click, and you can check out the requirements for yourself. And this is just from one bank, but it just gives you an idea of, I'm sure, what most banks will require of you as it relates to
Similar.
getting through. As far as the options of different land and also houses to purchase, we were at a development yesterday at Little Bay Country Club. Can you give us an idea of the cost of purchasing some of the properties there? And just for the purpose of the audience, I just want to give a little bit understanding of the type of property it is. So it's a gated property here in Negril, 24-hour security, right on the beach, has an infinity pool, relatively new construction within 10 years, all the amenities that you can basically ask for within a house: ACs, washer, dryer, Wi-Fi, cable, etc. And so we did a walkthrough yesterday of two specific houses. And yeah, if you can just tell us a little bit more about
the
those.
price range.
Let's start with price range and how much they cost.
I would say at the moment, I mean, it depends on if you get an oceanfront property,
Okay.
which of course are high price because right on the water, that's where everybody wants to be. And you have a little bit more land because you can decorate the garden the way you want it to. So you have a little bit more land than the other houses have. We have garden houses, and there's a little price difference between these houses. But I would say studios, unfortunately, there is no oceanfront studio. They are building some in phase 3 now, but they are not directly by the water like the houses that we looked at yesterday. They did not really plant the yards yet, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to come out. But there are some studios that have unblocked view to the water, but that is not even finished as yet. But all of them are sold.
Okay.
All of them are sold already.
All the studios are gone. Okay.
So the studios range from, at the moment, I mean, they were selling for less money when they just started 10 years ago, but now they are selling at, I think, 198,000.
Okay.
And the 2-bedroom houses, the resale, because as I said, there's nothing for sale at the moment, the resale that I have on that one house that we looked at in the garden, 465,900. The owner might be willing to go down a little bit, not much, because high demand for that place.
Right.
And everything is sold. And the oceanfront asking price 599.
599,000 for the
that makes
oceanfront.
2-bedroom. And a 3-bedroom in phase 3 was sold at 390,000. But keep in mind that comes without AC, only the kitchen furniture with a stovetop, bathroom is in there, but then everything else the owners have to pay for that.
I see.
So they will end up paying a little bit more than 400,000.
So we were also earlier talking about the demand, if you will, for one, the demand for houses, but then also two, which kind of speaks to the point of there being nothing for sale at Little Bay Country Club. And you're telling me that Negril is unique in the sense that nobody is doing these desperate sales, so to speak. Everybody's hanging on.
That is a problem, because I have the biggest problem when people are asking me for a deal, because realistically there is no deal.
Wow.
Nobody really needs to sell. People are selling because maybe they have been running a hotel for 40 years and they just want to come out of the business, or they want to do something new, or they emigrate or whatever, but nobody is really in a position. I had people who wanted to sell a house in Little London, and when the evaluator came and said, well, probably 100,000, they said no, they're not selling for that money. So the house is sitting there empty. They don't need to sell.
I've heard the same thing, that people will just hold on to it and...
Yeah, they say because maybe in 5 years from now, the value goes up.
Right.
And then, yeah. So they're not selling it for that kind of money. That's it. Mm-hmm.
That seems to be what's happening. So
Yeah.
I guess you can't blame them, right? So moving back a little bit to the process, how long does it take to close out on the purchase of a home?
If it's a cash deal, it will take about, on the offer we have 60 days, but that's not happening. Normally it takes 3 months.
Okay.
Finance deals take longer, and for all the Jamaicans who are using NHT, takes even longer than that.
I see. So say I wanted to buy that house, I have $500,000 cash.
Mm-hmm.
How long would that take?
If you have the money cash, could happen in 3 months.
Oh, it's still 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I'm going through a financial institution here in Jamaica?
Depending on if the purchaser is abroad, if the vendor is abroad, because then the paperwork has to be sent, like with original signatures, has to be sent to foreign countries, and then it might take a little bit longer. But I would say approximately half year to, could be almost 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. In regards to proof of funds that you mentioned before, is this just showing a bank statement?
Just a bank statement.
Just a bank statement. Yeah. And then continuing on with understanding the process of purchasing, would you also recommend getting a lawyer as well?
Not before the offer is accepted.
Not before the offer is accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of accepting the offer, like somebody who wanted to purchase a land or a house, would work through you, and you would work with the owner or the seller. Mm-hmm. And once we say, hey, okay, I can pay the $500,000, you see proof of funds, then you would get a lawyer at that point.
I would do it like this. So first of all, the people have to find out if they have the down payment, which is 10%. Then they have to decide if they can pay cash or if they need financing.
Wait, sorry. You said that, but before you said the down payment was 25%?
That is for a loan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That is for the loan. So if the bank gives you a loan, you have to come up with 25% out of your own funds.
Okay, so the 10% is
10%
to hold it if you have a cash deal.
For the sale.
I see. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm sorry. And then continue?
Yes, so 10% down, and then you think about if you need financing, and you have to come with proof of funds.
Let me step back. So I just want to make this clear. Yeah. So irrespective whether you're getting a loan or your cash deal, you need to put 10% down to hold on to it. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we're just trying to work the way through when or at what point do you need the lawyer?
You only need the lawyer after the contract is signed, and after the offer is signed and it goes to contract. The lawyer is actually doing the contract.
I see.
So it's the vendor's lawyer who is drafting up the contract. He has the carriage of sale, and the purchaser's lawyer is more or less just checking everything, is doing a title check. Normally we do that ourselves also. Like when I get a property and I look on the National Land Agency map to see is the property there, and so normally that is already, when we list the properties, that is already checked. But to double check and to see that everything is okay, the lawyer will do that. Plus, the banks require a survey and an evaluation. So at that time, the evaluator comes in, and then he finds out if there are any breaches of the boundaries or if everything was okay with the survey.
Okay, and the survey and the evaluation, that is at the expense of the purchaser?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
And that is, again, a requirement?
Requirement of the bank.
I see.
So together with what I said before, they have to come with a survey and an evaluation.
And this is to make sure that everything is legal and et cetera,
yes.
et cetera.
And I would actually always recommend a survey before you buy something, that you really see if a neighbor did not really build too close to your property, right, or if the fence is okay, because the moment you sell the property, you will have a problem if you have a boundary breach.
And then the 10% down payment, does that go into escrow at that point?
No, the 10% will start the sales transaction.
So who am I giving that money to?
To your lawyer.
To To the lawyer. So it is an escrow then.
Yeah.
Okay, I
so
see. Okay.
everybody gives the money to his or her lawyer.
I see.
And the vendor does not get any money before the whole deal is closed.
But that's just to show that you're serious.
Yeah.
You're a serious buyer at that point.
Yeah. No,
Gotcha.
actually the 10% start the whole transaction.
Gotcha.
That goes into the costs for the government fees, like transfer tax, stamp duty, registration fee. That is paid with the initial 10% because the vendor does not really have to pay.
Right.
So the 10% pays for the government fees.
So actual funds are being drawn down from the
Yeah.
10%. Okay.
And
good
then by
to
the
know.
time the whole paperwork goes through the stamp office and then to the title office, that is when you have to send your money in as the purchaser. The vendor has to send his title in, and then the title is transferred into the purchaser's name. And after that, the vendor gets the money.
Again, going through this whole process, we're looking at 3 months.
Yes, if
Okay.
it's cash. Mhm.
Okay.
So it's recommended not to give the vendor any money before you have all checked all these things, because a friend of mine actually from Germany, she bought a piece of land here that was supposed to become a subdivision. Never happened. She has the land, she could maybe build on it, but there is no way that she can get a title because the subdivision requires street, lighting, water. The developer is in Florida right now, does not do nothing about the subdivision, only that he sold quarter lots, surveyed quarter lots
All right.
to people who did not ask for a title. So it is really necessary to check that if there's a title.
So this is a real important example of showing how important it is to have professionals involved in the process.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. And would the process of, say, buying land be very similar to that? So say somebody who wants to come
Same
buy
thing.
land and build their house, and would they have access to a construction loan?
To construction?
I'm sorry. So say somebody gets the mortgage for purchasing the land. Would they also be able to get a construction loan to build a house?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think that's up to the people if they use the cash money that they have to buy the land. Some people told me that they want the loan for the land and then they take their own cash for the construction.
I see. Is that's
It's up
kind
to
of
the
normal? I
purchasers.
see. Okay. So it's up to them if they want to access or finance the project that way. So in regards to the requirements for starting or going through the process of purchasing, do you need, as a foreigner, do you need to have a tax registration number or a TRN?
Yes, you would have to provide that. You don't really have to have it when you make the offer, but you need it for the contract.
Okay.
So once you know that even if you're here in Jamaica, you should do it because it's easier to get it at the Jamaican tax office. Maybe not during COVID, but waiting time. But online it's more complicated and you have to get the signature notarized. So I would say if you come to Jamaica, you want to buy something, take time, go to the tax office, get it free, and then you have your TRN number. You can take that with you right away, 15 minutes,
Right.
normally.
Normally.
Yeah.
Right. So just for everybody's purposes, like the TRN, the tax registration number, you need it basically to do business in Jamaica.
Yeah.
But again, as you said, anybody can get this. It's very easy, very
It's
simple.
very easy. You just have to take your passport and they will give you one, and it's for buying property, for selling property, driver's license. You need TRN for everything.
Right. That was,
Yeah.
I think that was one of the first official things that I did when I moved
Exactly.
here.
You
Everybody
need that
has to do
anyway.
it. Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
But you do not need it for the first step, not really for the offer. The offer can go without TRN number, but when the lawyer has the offer, then if the vendor accepted and the whole thing goes to the lawyer, then you will have to provide a TRN number.
Okay, well, the process seems pretty straightforward, more or less, very similar to that of at least the United States, which I'm familiar with. But this was good information to know. Would you say Negril or consider Negril a good place to invest in real estate, whether you're coming here to do, say, an investment property of buying a house or buying an apartment and doing Airbnb, or you're looking to come here and perhaps retire?
Well, the thing is that I'm living in Negril. So you should not even ask me because, of course, when people are telling me, oh, they saw something in St. Anne, they saw something, whatever, I say, but do you have the beach? Do you have all the restaurants? Do you have the entertainment? On the other side, do you have places where you can just totally lay back and see nobody if you don't want to see anybody? Where else than Negril do you have that? I would say Negril is the best place, but...
No, you're speaking my language. That's your truth.
Yeah.
That's your experience.
Especially for somebody from abroad. Because in Negril, you have international people. You have people from England, Canada, America, Europeans. It's absolutely amazing. And you walk the beach, you see the same people all the time. It's like a family.
Right.
So if you don't have nobody here that you know, like Jamaicans might have relatives, but if you come here, especially on your own, I would say Negril is the place to be. Absolutely.
I agree. It's pretty
Absolutely.
easy to make friends here as well. And like you said, there are many different dynamics to Negril that you can enjoy.
And you have all options. And there's so many beautiful places around there, like 20 minutes drive, you go to the Blue Hole. This is nature pure. 20 minutes, you're back in Negril, in the action. Then you drive in the hills, you don't see and hear nothing again. It's just a perfect mix of everything.
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. So I just want to thank you so much for sitting down and doing this. I know people are going to watch this and listen to this and get a lot of value out of it. Where can people contact you if they are interested in real estate or they have any questions in regards to real estate here in Negril?
Yes, that would be my phone number, and I'm on WhatsApp as well. That's 876-290-1581, or my email address, margit@vlarealtors.com.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And of course, if you have any questions at all, put them down in the comments below. I will work with Margit to try to answer them as best as we can and as quickly as we can, because I know there's a lot of interest in this topic. And of course, we will do this again sometime in the future. And as questions come in, or if there is, say, a common question that keeps coming up, maybe we can do a podcast that is dedicated to that particular question. So please let me know in the comments. I love doing this stuff. I love the finance aspect of it. And if you want me or us to jump into the weeds a little bit more, get more into the fine tuning, dotting the I's and crossing the T's of the financing, of learning more about land, square footage, all that sort of thing. We try to keep this as high level as possible to really appeal to as many people as possible. But if the interest is there, I would be more than happy to do a podcast dedicated to those finer details, if you will. So once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this. Absolutely.
Great having me. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And thank you all for joining us here today. And I will see everyone in the next one. Peace.